Hello Bean Team, welcome to Travel Beans. I'm Alex and this is Emma and we are full-time travellers.
And welcome to a brand new weekly segment that we are making for you guys called Refried Beans.
This is where we're going to dig into old travel experiences, relive some travel memories and also give some advice and hopefully some inspiration for your future trips.
Because the only thing we like more than actually travelling is talking about travelling. As you guys may already know, Alex and I work as online English teachers to support our travels.
But being able to release more than 2 travel vlogs a week with the filming, the editing, and then juggling the teaching has become almost impossible for us.
It is hard. So we wanted to figure out a way to get more content out there for you guys, and that's where Refried Beans comes in.
One of the main reasons we travel is because we love to see the local wildlife around the world. And our regular subscribers will know that we can get pretty excited about it.
What? This is the weirdest wildlife I've ever seen. There is a tortoise crossing the road.
Which is why we decided for our first ever Refried Beans episode, we would talk about our top 5 animal experiences. Number 5, the vultures in Spain.
I dragged Emma along to Spain for the Champions League final and somehow managed to convince her that sleeping in a car for 5 days was a good idea.
It was actually a lot better than I thought it would be, and we actually ended up having quite a lot of fun.
So we were doing a road trip from Barcelona all the way to Madrid and making a few stops along the way, and someone on Instagram recommended a place off the beaten path.
The name of this place was Congos de Montrebi, and it was essentially a 3.5-hour hike each way to go and see this spectacular gorge and river running through it. What made this wildlife experience so special was that it wasn't easy to do at all, and it was completely unexpected. Right, this is a map of this whole massive gorge. We started here. Now, I can't even reach where we are. That's how much we've walked. We were prepared for the hike to be pretty spectacular, and after 3.5 hours of walking in the heat up and down those mountains to get to the final viewpoint, we looked up and we saw humongous vultures circling around and gliding in between the cliff faces.
Naively, we didn't even know that there were vultures in Europe, and the camera definitely can't do justice to the sheer size of these bad boys. Seeing the vultures was the icing on the cake of an awesome day that was only to be topped off by Liverpool winning the Champions League.
He had to slide that one in there. Number 4, a bear in California.
Firstly, before we talk about this, people, go back and watch our USA series. It was awesome and no one's bloody watching it. Next stop on this road trip is Morro Bay, and this is Morro Rock. But more importantly is we've just found the best pillow ever. This allows you to sleep anywhere. Let me put it on for you. So you put your head in like this, you put your hands in this hole, and then...
That series has probably less than 1,000 views per video, but it was such an epic trip.
We saw so many animals that we don't usually see in California, from seals and sea lions, which actually I don't think is that rare, to seeing humpback whales breaching out of the water whilst on the top of a little mountain at sunset unexpectedly.
So during sunset we hiked up to the top of this hill and were not expecting to see anything other than sunset, but we were pleasantly surprised when we saw a pair of humpback whales frolicking in the water. But the standout wildlife experience in California was at Sequoia National Park. We were walking through one area of it where there's a few meadows dotted around, and we managed to spy ourselves a little baby bear.
What can you see?
It's a bear. It's a bear. Let's get closer.
Oh my god.
We were a little bit worried because when you see a baby bear, the rule is that there's probably a big angry mother bear looking nearby. But don't worry guys, I know as buff as I am, I also had a stick. So if that bear did come by, it wouldn't have known what hit him.
One thing that was at the top of my bucket list was seeing redwood trees. I was super excited about that, which brought us to Sequoia National Park. And the park itself is actually stunning. Not only have you got the meadows where we saw the little baby bear, but also the trees are incredible, and we got to camp out in the middle of the forest. One thing actually that we really loved about camping out in the forest is they had signs everywhere saying that you had to pack away all of your food into these big metal boxes to prevent the black bears coming and eating all your food.
We were so lucky to actually see the bear because we had given up after a day of searching. We were literally getting into the car and we decided to go for one last chance, and lo and behold, there the little bugger was.
And if you want to check out the full-length video of us and our bear encounter, check out the link in the description below at the end of this video. Number 3, mantas in the Maldives.
We were lucky enough to be staying on a local island in the Maldives for a month. We were making a promotional video for a guest house, which meant that we got loads of opportunities to go out on the boat and experience the local wildlife.
As these are wild animals and we were going out into the ocean to see them, the guides did warn us that there was a chance that we wouldn't see manta rays on many of the occasions. One of the things we really like about seeing wild animals is that there's never a guarantee that you're actually going to see them, which makes the hunt for them even more exciting.
And what made this so unique was that we were the only boat out there looking for them, and when we got to jump into the water there was no one else around, just us guys on the boat, and they got so close to us.
Before we got on the boat, they did warn us, don't get too close to them or touch them because it can harm them, which made us happy because obviously you want to go with a tour guide that respects the animals and the wildlife. All in all, it was an absolutely phenomenal experience. We were probably in the water for at least an hour with these guys. Absolutely unreal. Number 2 is seeing puffins on Skomer Island in Wales. We never expected the UK to feature in our top 5 animal experiences, but Skomer Island absolutely blew us away.
As a massive wildlife lover, I do not discriminate against our feathered friends. That's right, I do have a top 3 birds, and puffins are on that list. I knew that we had a good chance of seeing them before we got there, but I didn't actually think we could get so close to them.
Also, what else made this day so good was that there are not only puffins on this island is riddled with wildlife. We saw seals, we saw dolphins, and we saw a very rare owl, which we did not expect to see. And we actually met a guy on the island who had been there for more than 20 years and he had never seen it. We saw the owl again, and I'm pretty sure it was an owl. It was pretty far. Oh, that's it again. Oh my goodness. Yes. Oh, it's amazing. There's this like pale brown and white, beautiful owl.
Another reason this was so good is it's a bit of an adventure to get there. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere and there's no guarantee that you can go to the island. You can't pre-book tickets and you have to turn up on the day in the hope that you can get one.
It's all first come, first serve from the ticket office. There's only a certain amount of people allowed on the island every day and a certain amount of boats going to and from the island. So if you do decide to go to Skomer, make sure you get there nice and early to grab your ticket. And number 1 was seeing an elephant in Sri Lanka.
Now for both of us, this was an easy number 1, and actually I've got goosebumps just thinking about it. Okay, not right now, but earlier I did.
We joined a safari tour at Yala National Park, which had a campground just on the outskirts of the park, and every day we would do sunrise and sunset drives around to try and spot some animals.
This isn't the first time that we've seen an elephant. Boy, have we seen some elephants around. We saw loads of animals on this safari experience, but this one stands out so much. First we parked up and we could see an elephant in the distance just behind some bushes. At this point it was quite far away, but started walking towards us and showing some interest in the car.
So just before we stopped, the guides were actually telling us about the elephants and about how dangerous they are. They were telling us how careful we have to be around them because they can do some serious damage to cars and even have been known to kill people.
As it approached and got closer, you can kind of see on my face a mix of like awe, respect and fear.
I was terrified. Actually, re-watching this footage, we haven't watched it since we were there, but watching it now even makes my heart race a little bit, just thinking about how scared and amazed I was at that moment in time.
You can't actually tell from the footage, but when the elephant comes up to the car, it actually starts pushing it and the car was actually rocking left and right. Even the guide said after that he was pretty scared at this point.
Then after pushing the car for a little bit, it walked down towards the back end when we were sitting and actually was eyeing up Alex for a good few minutes. You were terrified, I think. And then it started backing off slowly. However, I was even more scared when it started to do this, because as it backed up, it started kind of brushing and lifting its front right leg against the ground as if it was getting ready to charge at us or something.
I don't know if that's what happens when an elephant is about to charge, but my only reference point is a bull, and I know it definitely does that before it charges.
Yeah, definitely in the cartoons from when I was a kid, I feel like any animal before it charges starts like scraping on the ground. So I was pretty terrified. If you're interested in watching the full clip of our elephant experience, we will leave that link in the description below.
Also, all of these animal experiences we do have videos on, so all of the links will be below. Something we noticed when coming up with this list is that all the experiences have something in common, and that was that all of the animals were in their own natural environment.
I think in general, whenever we have had good experiences with animals, they have always been in the wild. I think part of that is kind of the chase to get to it. It's never guaranteed. You won't always see these animals, and that adds that little extra bit of excitement when you're going out to find them.
Also, this kind of leads us on to next week's topic, which is going to be our top 5 worst animal experiences.
Dun, dun, dun.
So that wraps it up for our first ever refried beans video. If you enjoyed the video, come on! Please
up,
press
please.
like.
So cute. Please press like.
Also leave us a comment. Let us know what are your favourite wildlife experiences. And yes, I know Africa is not on this list.
We haven't been there yet, guys. Don't rub it in. If any of you are interested in how we live this lifestyle and have these wildlife experiences, yet still seem to have no money all of the time, check out our Earn Less, Live More Travel Beans Facebook group.
And if you want to stop us for having such little amount of money, we have a Patreon and we will gladly accept every little penny.
We are not too good for that. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already and hit that notification bell to be notified of future Bean videos. And on that note, I think I'm going to take the reins here and I'm going to say beans out.
God, every time I say to her she can do it, you're allowed to do it. It's like you didn't even try though. Like
I do.
On that note, I'm saying beans out. Come on, beans out!